no one writes a manual for how you kind of navigate through missing a child when you're on the road. And at this stage in my career, like, you know, I'm not like at the bus anymore after shows partying and looking for chicks, you know. Right. I'm usually FaceTiming my little girls afterwards and making sure that they're going to bed.
How things change, right? Hey everyone, I'm Troy Vollhoffer, and welcome back to another episode of On the Bus. I'm very excited for today's guest, Jake Owen. Jake's been making a name for himself in country music scene since his debut album in 2006. But as most of you country fans know, in the summer of 2011, Jake's career took off with the smash hit Barefoot Blue Jean Night. Jake has 2 EPs and 7 albums under his belt, and this summer we're lucky enough to have him join us for 2 Country Thunder festivals. He's such a dynamic performer and really connects with his fans. I can't wait to talk to him, so please join me in welcoming Jake Owen to On the Bus.
My girls are getting older. Like, I'm leaving here like immediately when I'm finished. I wish I could see Blake. I'm going to pick up my daughter and take her back to Nashville. I'm actually missing her recital tonight.
Oh, no.
I missed my other daughter's recital yesterday so I could play a casino in Biloxi.
Right. Show business, right?
Yeah, that's showbiz. That's showbiz, baby. That's his hat. He's got a hat that says that's showbiz, baby.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that is great. That's a
you
good
need
one.
that one, Troy.
That's a good one. Hey, thanks a lot for coming doing this.
Man.
I know you got a busy day, and I've always wanted to have a chat with you because you've had such a cool career. And
thank you.
So let's go back to the beginning. So started out golfer.
Yep.
Had an injury, and then music became part of your life, right?
Really, I kind of started out more, I mean, people use the term golfer because that's what I was doing at the time when I got hurt, but I grew up with a twin brother right here in Florida, on the other side of the state, Vero Beach. You know, my best friend in life, Marty Fish, went on to play professional tennis. Like, we all grew up like very motivated to be great at whatever we were doing, and we had our friends around pushing us to be better. And so I kind of floundered around different sports and stuff, and I was never as good as Marty in like tennis. I was a decent baseball player. I was never big enough to play football, but I was just always like working hard at stuff because my dad was on my ass all the time. And same with my brother. When you have a twin brother, you're always like, who's going to be better at whatever you're doing? So when I got hurt, I was going to play golf in college, got hurt, didn't end up playing golf in college, started playing guitar instead, and decided that I was going to drop out of Florida State one day and move to Nashville. That was 20 years ago, and try to make it. And honestly, like, I really am excited to always continue my career from here on out, but I feel like I made it like the day that I got to Nashville.
You had some good success early, didn't you? Right off the top.
Well, I mean, I got a record deal pretty quickly, but
what was that, like 2006? Somewhere in the neighborhood?
Yeah, 2006 I got a record deal. And it was the end of it was 2005, October 2005. Put a single out in 2006. And it was 7 years before I had a #1 song, which was Barefoot Blue Jean Night, and then went on from there.
You go down in history as having one of the most unique sessions ever with Joey Moe, being the first artist to ever record a record without drums, right? Like real drums, which we revolutionized the whole way of recording in Nashville.
Yeah, people still reference that to me sometimes. They're like, man, in that year that you guys put out Barefoot Blue Jean Night, which is the song I'm alluding to that went #1, we kind of just took a risk and did something different. And I knew it was gonna be polarizing, but I also was like, what do I have to lose, man? I'd had a record deal for 7 years. I'd had some moderate hits, but like nothing that was polarizingly different. And I remember when I put that song out, a lot of other artists called me and they were like, dude, this sounds way like a new age. And in a way,
you guys created a whole new sound.
It started a whole new sound that ended up being something that then, through time you have waves, and like now we're getting a new sound. And so it's cool. I feel that song was Song of the Decade.
Right.
And so I'm proud of that song. But as I've grown older, it's funny, I told someone the other day, I'm 43 now, and I was 30 when that song came out. It's 13 years ago. It's kind of wild. Sure. And I think to myself, that song says, whoa, I'm never going to grow up. Whoa, I'm never going to slow down. And I think that's like what music is. It's kind of like this fantasy life that you can live through. Like Jack and Diane, like, you go back to that, 2 kids munching on chili dogs at the Tasty Freeze. Like, it takes you back. But now here I am at 43. I'm kind of like, as you said, like, I'm in a new chapter of my life and my career. I've got 2 girls. Like, I'm trying to make music that relates to where I am now in my life. And that's the fun part of being an artist.
Yeah.
Kind of rolling with it.
I just want to go back to that time period. I've heard horror stories about Joey pushing guys to the brink of tears. Was he a hard guy to work with?
No, actually, it's funny, Joey and I don't work together anymore, but I'll always say that he's like was a magician in my career as far as coming in and pushing me to be better and learning from things. Like, we all become comfortable in our own artistry.
Yeah.
We know what works for us, and if you're one of those people that's so I guess you can use the term selfish and arrogant to think that you can't learn from others, then you wouldn't be utilizing a guy like Joey to his full potential. Because a real producer, a good producer, which is what Joey is and his track record proves it, they push you to be better than what you think you are.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But it takes an open mind of an artist to accept that that's what his intentions are, not to beat you down.
Right.
There were times I felt beat down, you know, singing, because he's like, that's not it, that's not the note, it's this note. And I was like, well, that's how I sing it. And he's like, yeah, that may be how you sing it, but it's wrong. And I never took offense to that. And then when I listened back to it, I was like, he's right.
That's wild.
And so I admire people, man, that don't have fear to tell you what the right thing is and fight for what's right. And you know, he has a track record, and he always said, you know, we worked together back in the day. I went away from him, we worked together again. I went away from him. Who knows, man? We may work together again.
Let's talk about now. Let's talk about touring. What does 2025 look like for you, and what's going on?
I've been making a record in LA with Shooter Jennings,
Wow.
which is super.
Is he producing it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Super country. It's not that what people want to hear, but like I didn't intentionally go there to say I want to make a commercial album. I just want to make music that's like really special to me in my heart. It's not Barefoot Blue Jean Night at all. But it's something that I'm super excited about, super proud of, and as I said, it's like it relates to where I am in my life. So with that, and then, you know, also still going out touring, doing the fun Jake summer tours, you know, with Uncle Cracker, and I'm gonna go tour some shows with the Dirty Heads.
That's great.
So yeah, like that's the thing that I've enjoyed doing. For me as an entertainer, I enjoy entertaining. I enjoy bringing an experience to people to digest and then go away with. Like this can't be that serious. You know, you have to be really fun with people, and you have to let them have a good time. And I think that's what I love about these, you know, doing these Country Thunders and these big festivals, is that you get a lot of artists out there, and they're your chance to own that crowd. Every artist has a chance to take that crowd and put them in your hand, and you can get intimidated by that position, or you can say, I'm gonna own this. And so like I always try to step out there and think to myself, like, I'm gonna own it. So that's what we're doing this summer.
Like last month in Phoenix, I was totally blown away. I hadn't seen you in a long time, and I was so blown away because you owned it that night, and you totally owned it. And the classic country look you got on stage, it's really refreshing. And I think, man, you're onto something. I mean, I think there's like something there that's really big.
Well, thanks, man. I will say this, like, I don't know that I used to maybe in my younger days, like, be like trying to get to that thing, like what is next, like what is next for me.
Sure.
And I think maybe what you're saying in a roundabout way that I will take as a compliment is I think coming up as a kid, you're constantly trying to figure out who you are.
Of course.
And until you like get to that point in your life, I guess where I am now, I admire folks and kids and artists that I've seen from the beginning kind of stick to everything they've always, like they stayed there. I had been a kid from Florida here, moving to Nashville, going out on tour with Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn early in my years, you know, and being a beach kid, trying to, you know, play out there with these classic country guys, which I've always loved that kind of music, but you kind of try to find out, you get in where you fit in, you know? I feel like I've gone through the waves of my career and songs I've put out, and I'm at a place where I'm like really comfortable up there. And I think what you're alluding to is that it maybe hopefully shined through that night, and I hope that it continues to shine through.
Going through the touring aspect of everything, we've talked about that already, but let's talk about your personal life. What's new in your personal life? You got 2 beautiful daughters.
I've got 2 girls, thank goodness. They kind of are my saving grace in life in a lot of ways. You know, this business is really hard, and there's days that feel awesome, and then there's days that feel like that sometimes can feel like just terrible, and they don't care. They're this bit, like, it's funny how we all in this business can put so much emphasis on what's next, what's happening right now, and all that. And what that's important to them, for me, is like I'm just their dad. Right. And my little girl who's 12 going on 13, she kind of senses that in a way sometimes, and I can tell when she tells me. I called her the other night, I was like, I'm really sorry that I'm not at your rehearsal this week, or your recital. I said, I hate to always be the dad that's not there. And she's like, Dad, it's okay, because I know that, she's like, you're always here with me. Oh. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like, still didn't make it any better. It's like I'm not there, but like knowing that she doesn't resent me for not being there is a big deal. So those are like, I think in my life right now, I never had this before. I've never had to understand. No one writes a manual for how you kind of navigate through missing a child when you're on the road, and or these people that travel for a living. So at this stage in my career, like, you know, I'm not like at the bus anymore after shows partying and looking for chicks, you know. I'm usually FaceTiming my little girls afterwards and making sure that you know, they're going to bed.
How things change, right? Oh, I love it. I know, I had the same thing, man. I got, you know, 2 kids, and now, you know, I sacrificed all that time on being on the road and stuff, and then now, you know, they're in the business now, not my business, but one's a manager and one's an artist, and now they come out and hang out with me. So it all comes around, the full circle. So
absolutely,
you know, but. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you coming here and taking this time out, and have a great show tonight.
Thank you. I'm excited about it. These opportunities are awesome, you know. I get excited to have that opportunity to be out there tonight, you know, and play for these people, make them have a good time. I have a little bit of a leg up with being a Floridian.
Love it.
So I'm going to take advantage of that.
I'll see you in Calgary next.
I'll see you.
We should have some fun there, too.
Cool.
So
thank you
very much, Jake. Really appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Big thanks again to Jake Owen for joining us on the bus today and for lighting up the stage at Country Thunder, Florida. He's truly a must-see artist, and you can catch him on tour now through October. You can head to jakeowen.net for those tour dates in the US, UK, and Canada. He'll be joined by Darius Rucker and Uncle Cracker for a few of those nights, and you'll definitely want to get those tickets in advance. I can't wait to see Jake on stage with us again in August at Country Thunder, Alberta. We're back for another installment of On Tour with Troy, where I'll answer questions from listeners and Country Thunder fans about my life on the road and my time in country music. Let's do it. What does Nashville mean to me? It's Music City, USA, and I love Nashville so much. It's home. It's such a creative space, and it's not only for country music, all genres. There's so many songwriters in Nashville, and there's so many artists in Nashville, and it's my favorite city in the whole world. How did I go from playing pro hockey to a career in the music industry? My father and my grandfather were in show business. My father worked with Dean Martin and the Gold Diggers. He toured a lot. As a kid growing up, I was around him a lot. He ran the Stagehand Union, and I got to see all the different shows, and I got to work at a very early age in my life. At about 10 years old, I was pushing boxes and doing different shows. So I had a great backstage view of every genre of music there possibly was, from Liberace to Kenny Rogers to Dolly Parton to Kiss to Cheap Trick to Van Halen to The Clash. So I was totally enthralled by it, and I didn't come from a lot of money, so my vision was to have a production company, and my goal was to own it. So I was a decent hockey player, and I signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I took my signing bonus and I bought a lighting system, and that started my career. The old adage saying, build it, they will come, that wasn't the case. It took me a good 10 years to get my foot really in the door and to have some success in the music business. What is my favorite venue to work in? I love Madison Square Gardens. It's not the easiest place to work in, but I love it because of the history. The iconic acts that have come through there. The walls just ring with history, and you can still hear Led Zeppelin in the hallways. First album I ever purchased was Elton John, Madman Across the Water. I was like eight or 9 years old, and I really dug the cover of the record. So it was blue and it had Madman Across the Water in darker blue. And Tiny Dancer was a single off that record. I just want to thank Jake Owen for coming on today in a very tight schedule and being on the bus. It was a fantastic interview and a great time spent. I hadn't seen Jake in a long time. Played Country Thunder last month in Arizona, but we didn't have an opportunity to meet each other that day. But we date back to, early 2010. It was great to catch up with him today. I hope you really enjoy this show. I'm excited about it, so please catch him. He's a great live act, and he gives it 100% every night. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow Country Thunder on all our social platforms at Country Thunder. We have new episodes dropping bi-monthly. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you know when the new episodes hit the feed. Man, the last time we hung out, I don't know if you remember this or not, but it would have been about 2011, I had you up in Canada.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about
I think you were opening for George Strait or Chesney or something.
You know what? It was, that was a long time ago, and I believe it was funny because George was there that night because Irv Woolsey was there that night, and he was smoking that cigar, and he goes, this cigar, remember that? He goes, this cigar is like Clay Walker, it doesn't draw.
Yeah.
I remember he said that.
I totally remember. Yeah, because there's the three of us sitting there.
Yeah.